This is Module 1 on research process, analysis, and methods, which is still a review before we go into the core of this course, which is the application of statistics in research. So here we have research paradigms, research methods, and research tools. So there are two paradigms, positivism and naturalism, already established in the 18th century. The research methods differ for the two: quantitative for positivism, qualitative for naturalism. And the tools for quantitative would be questionnaire and interview schedule. Both are papers with questions. Difference is the questionnaire you can leave with the respondent and come back to retrieve the following day, whereas the interview schedule is used by the interviewer right there and then, wherein the respondent may ask the interviewer right there and then. For the qualitative, the use is on guide, question guide or interview guide. So the questions here are more generic compared to those in the quantitative tools, research tools, which are more detailed for purposes of coding in statistical analysis later. For the quantitative and qualitative, this one asks the question how many, because it's on quantity. The qualitative asks the question why. So you don't need a lot of respondents here. Like for example, a widow from the Marawi siege, you don't need a lot of them to be able to have bulk of data. Even with just very few widows, you'll get a bulk of data just in asking why. Here in the quantitative, like you want to know how students fare with the online classes, so you need a lot of students to know that, to answer the question how many students are whatever for that purpose. So this is for generalization, for predictions, and this is for depth of information. Okay, the research methods flexibility. Although the research paradigm positivism is largely quantitative and naturalism is qualitative, but positivists sometimes engage in qualitative studies, while naturalists sometimes collect quantitative information. So they may cross, or they may be applied both. Thus, you are going to have quantitative, qualitative research at the same time. So the quantitative researchers gather empirical evidence rooted in objective reality, what you observe with your senses. There is no bias, no personal opinion, just facts. By empirical evidence, it consists of observations gathered through sight, hearing, taste, touch, or smell. Like this, you see that is empirical evidence, and you can hear a baby's cry, that is empirical evidence. Now, quantitative researchers use deductive reasoning, that is from general to particular, to generate hunches that are tested in the real world. They typically move in an orderly and systematic fashion, from the definition of the problem and the selection of concepts on which to focus, through the design of the study and collection of information, to the solution of the problem. So move in an orderly and systematic fashion. That is for quantitative researchers that used later statistics. This is our subject is all about. Examples of empirical observation. Someone's pimple, you can see that. Your heart rate after you jog in place. You can also measure the heart rate, you can count it. Your waistline after months of COVID-19's enforced stay-home directive. Either way, from this to this for those that exercise daily, or from this to this for those who just keep on eating. So these are all objective information which the senses can observe. The research process basically involves these major steps: definition of the problem, proceed to data gathering, and then after that, data analysis and verification of the results. As to the statement of the problem, you are going to do next the review of existing research and theory. And you're going to formulate study frameworks and determination of appropriate methodology and research design. You have already taken this in your research methods, right? And next, you are going to have design of data collection instrument. You remember we mentioned questionnaire and interview schedule and the guides. So whichever you are going to use depending on your research methods. Then you proceed to data collection, and after which you are now going to have data analysis and interpretation. Then you are going to present the results of your study. And if it's your thesis, you are ready for defense. Now, the research analysis for quantitative, qualitative, it answers how many, so you need statistics. For the qualitative, since it answers the question why, so you need to analyze the depth of data in a qualitative way. You will deal with this in your research methods class. Now, the research variable can be independent or dependent. So the independent variable, that's the perceived cause. The dependent variable, so that's the perceived effect. Okay, but there may be an intervening variable that is in between. So in this example, you log in Google Meet. That is independent variable. That is the perceived cause. Now, the perceived effect would be the presence or your absence in the Google Meet. If there may be intervening variable, the connectivity will enhance your presence or absence. It depends on the intervening variable, what may be the effect of that cause. Now, the research methods can either be, there may be case study, sample survey, experiment, or feasibility study. When to use this? So the case study you use when objective is to observe a process in depth. A process involves systematic steps from start to finish. That's why anthropologists, when they use this, they also use a diary in recording the events of the day when they are going to observe the people involved in the case study. In the survey research, which is what we are going to do, you have your assignment, the clan survey, when objective is to have a general picture of people's awareness, knowledge, attitude, and behavior towards a thing, event, or situation. So you need to do a survey. That means you need to have a population, a certain population, like all children or students, MSU students. Okay? And you are going to have a sample out of that population. An experiment, when objective is to determine the cause and effect of certain social phenomena under controlled conditions. Usually there will be two groups in an experiment. One group is the control group, the other group is the experiment group. So the control group has no no treatment whatsoever, whereas the control group is given something, a treatment. And usually this is used in natural sciences, biology, chemistry, physics. They use this particular research method. And they are going to compare later the difference between those that are subjected to control and to treatment. Okay. Next is the feasibility study. Use this when objective is to find out the economic viability of establishing a certain structure or institution. Like you want to establish a business, a computer cafe. So you need to conduct a feasibility study for you to know if the business you're planning to put up to is what the people in that locality needs. Then are there people who will patronize your business? So that's the differences of these research methods.